Hey, this is Stephen Screen coming to you from the very site, the table, the farmhouse of the Work Less, Raise More Masterminds. And something happened a couple weeks ago that I want to share with you because I think it can help you start raising more money right away. Here's the short story. A bunch of organizations sitting around this table. I'm over here at the whiteboard, and we realized something. Every single organization here felt like their appeals were underperforming. They felt like they were not raising as much money as they could be. So we talked about it, and then I helped them diagnose what was going on. And here's what it is. Every single one of the organizations in the room was presenting their donors with impossible problems to solve. And because of that, the donors were responding less and giving less. So let me give you a quick diagnostic that you can use to see if this is what's happening in your organization, and this might be what is holding your appeals back. And by the way, by appeals, I mean appeal letters, e-appeals, and even events. Here's what it looks like. There are two things I want you to ask yourself. Number one, when you are asking your donors to respond, are you asking them to help a lot of people all at once? Here's what that tends to look like. That might be a call to action that says, save the babies, or maybe provide health care for all. Help the kids, right? That is asking your donor to help a lot of people all at once. That's one of the signs that you're presenting the donor with a situation that's too big for her to make a meaningful difference. The other one is pretty similar. The second one is when you're asking your donor to solve a massive problem that she knows she can't solve by herself. Here's what that tends to look like. That is, will you help end poverty in Africa? Or will you end illiteracy in our town? See how those problems are so big that the donor knows that she can't solve them? If you're doing either of these things, if you're asking her to help a lot of people at once, or you're asking her to solve a massive problem that she knows she can't solve, you could be raising more money. And so here's what that looks like. By the way, let me say as an aside, these big problems can be great campaigns. You can have a campaign to save the whales. You can have a campaign to end generational homelessness. But your call to action needs to be to do a smaller thing. And if it is to take a smaller thing that's still meaningful, you'll raise more money with every single impact in your campaign. So here's what that looks like. Instead of asking donors to help all of the people, all of your beneficiaries, ask your donor to help one beneficiary at a time. That means save the baby. That means, will you help provide health care for one person? See how that's a smaller ask of a donor? See how that's easier for a donor to say yes? See how a donor at any price point can do one meaningful thing? If you do that, you're going to get more responses and you're going to get better average gifts too. And then the second thing is, if you've been previously asking your donors to solve massive problems, end poverty in Africa, what you want to do is break those down into smaller problems that are solvable one step at a time. Would you provide a malaria bed net for one family? Or say you're doing something environmental. Will you help us pass the next bill that's on the legislature floor 2 months from now? Or if you're trying to support arts in your town, instead of support arts in our town, say, will you provide art supplies for one kid? See how we've taken these big problems and we've made them smaller, more understandable, so that every single one of your donors can do something meaningful today. If you can make your fundraising have a place for every single donor to do something meaningful by presenting smaller solvable problems, you will raise more money. And I know this works. Not only do the tests throughout my 25-year career show that it works, but for all the organizations that were in this room, they, about a week and a half ago, all sent out appeals. Every single one of them did better than they had the year before, and 2 of them set record-breaking appeals, better than anything else that they had ever done. So, and what they did was they stopped presenting really big, unsolvable problems and instead put small, achievable goals in front of their donors. If you can start doing that, your appeals are going to start raising more money right away. Thanks and good luck.